Okay, we're going to do two things here. We're going to measure the effluent from the calcium reactor. There's a dripping tube in the very back here, this white one running down. And essentially I take a little beaker, set a timer for 1 minute, and press start and slide this under at the exact same time. Okay, our timer is running. So we basically let this drip into the cup. At the end of 1 minute, we will essentially measure how much fluid is in there, and then go over to the needle valve and adjust as necessary, either increasing the flow rate or decreasing the flow rate. The needle valve is really sensitive, so it often winds up taking me numerous times of making adjustments to complete this process and get it to where I want it to be. So take, for example, if I want 24 milliliters, if it's at 26 or 28 or 30, right, I've got to decrease, run this test again for a minute, which we're approaching here, so I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. Okay, it just finished. So now we're going to take this over. You got to set it on a level surface. And I'm at about 22 milliliters. I'm perhaps going to leave it there because things have been creeping up a little bit. But yeah, that's essentially the process. It winds up taking sometimes 5 to 10 minutes or more in order to get it right, especially if you have to keep repeating it. So make very small adjustments with the needle valve. Then I usually just dump this back in and rinse this out. So the other thing we're going to combine in this video is what to do if the tank is micro bubbling. First of all, back here in this reservoir, the same one that the effluent is dripping into, is usually running at above the blue top of the pump there, usually an inch or 2 inches. You can see it's actually a little bit low right now, so this may actually be clogged up. When it gets low, it starts sucking air in, and the tank will start spurting micro bubbles up here from the main return pump in the back there, or the tube. So the way to prevent that is keep an eye on this, and if water isn't actually getting down into the dripping out of this RODI reservoir here, then you got to figure out if this little tube's clogged. So the water level's really low. We're actually due for a water change. But the first thing to check is grab this tube right here, which is attached at a little nipple, and just kind of gently pull it off. And if water's flowing out, then it's not plugged, obviously, from debris inside of the RODI reservoir. So I'm going to reattach that, and then kind of just troubleshoot from there. I'm going to go ahead and detach the next section. Okay, it's dripping pretty well out of there. I'll put a light on there so it's not plugged there. I'll leave that dripping for a second. Oftentimes I wind up just blowing in this tube, and you can hear that. So the air's coming through. It's obviously fairly clear. There was a little bit of debris in there. You're not able to blow through this if the water level is up high, because there's a float back there that lifts up and stops anything from flowing out of this tube. That's how it's supposed to function. So I'm going to reattach this. I'm going to assume that water is actually, it is in fact running right now. It's just that this reservoir is really low. So that's it. Thanks.